Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video we're going to start collecting Conquest, Last Argument of Kings by Parabellum War Games, and today we're going to take a look at the Wadrun one-player starter set and how we can use that to get our first army for Conquest on the table. In this video, we're going to go through everything that comes inside the box set and talk about all the units that come inside it, and then we'll take a look at some other units we can grab later to expand upon the box set and build us up to a 1,000-point army list to begin with, and we'll show you a sample 1,000-point army list at the end of the video as well. As an aside, if you would like to get into Conquest and you want to get yourself a discount, we have an affiliate discount code down in the video's description, which you can use to get 10% off anything on the Parabellum e-store, and you'll go a long way to helping support the channel and continue to allow us to keep producing more and more Conquest Last Argument of Kings content. Thank you to everyone who has so far used the code and helped us get this stuff on the channel. Now with that said, let's get talking about everything inside the box set, and the first thing we get is a Predator. This is a light class infantry type character. Now the Predator has a ranged attack, as you might guess by the giant crossbow in his hand. Barrage 3 at 24-inch, armor piercing, deadly shot, and Fiend Hunter are a bunch of different cool rules. Fiend Hunter in particular allows him to reroll failed hits against monsters, and the deadly shot ability as well is when an enemy regiment or character stand makes a defense roll against a volley action from a stand with a special rule, you add 2 wounds to the pool instead of 1 for each unmodified defense roll of a 6. If your opponent rolls terrible, you get more hits in there. Pretty darn cool. Now, he's got access to a bunch of different things and a pretty solid stat line. Volley 3, Clash 3, 4 attacks, 4 wounds, Resolve 3, and Defense 2 is all pretty cool. His supremacy ability through for the kill allows regiments you may reroll a charge roll this round. In addition, light regiments add +3 to their charge distance, mediums add +1 to their charge distance, and heavy regiments add 1 attack for each unengaged stand of that regiment to any impact hits they make. Pretty cool stuff all around. They're going to just get some extra damage. It really is a cool sort of time, and that is Wadrun in general. They're an army that really works on being timed. You can pick a bunch of different cults to get some different rules and abilities available to you throughout the army. I strongly recommend when starting Wadrun just to play with the one warband cult across your whole army. This allows you to learn that cult sort of properly and then swap to another one and then finally the other one at the end and learn what all of them do in turn. It's probably the best way to get into them, and then you can start thinking about combinations and all of that of it across your army. Now, looking at units, we actually only have technically 2 box sets in this, but both box sets are a dual kit. And so the first one is we get 24 Blooded or Braves. Now, these are pretty much our baseline sort of infantry guys. They're the ones sitting at the front that you can see. Now, the big difference here is Blooded are a medium infantry class unit. Their big thing is they have flurries, so they get to reroll their hits with their clash of 2. That's really what they've got going for them. Meanwhile, we then have the alternate, which is the Braves. They as well are a medium class infantry, but they do not have flurry. They instead have shields and support 1, so they've got shields and spears, as you can see. This means in their front arc they would have defense 3, which is really nice. And they've also got the Bloodlust rule as well, where when a regiment with a special rule is currently on the battlefield and takes an action, and the regiment is not in contact with an enemy regiment, roll a d6. If the result is equal to or less than the highest resolve characteristic in the regiment, you may perform an action as normal. If the result is higher, you must perform a charge action against the closest enemy regiment in line of sight. If there is no enemy target to charge, you must perform a march action directly towards someone. So they're a little bit... For me, I really do prefer the Blooded. Wadrun are all about being a little bit of glass cannons and a bunch of stuff. I think the flurry just works really well. Now we do also get 24 other models, which are Slingers and Hunters. Hunters are a infantry type light class unit. Strong arm is their rule, and they've got barrage 1 at 14-inch, armor piercing, and deadly shot. Deadly shot, we've already gone over with what that does, but strong arm, this regiment never counts their target to their volley action as obscured due to long range, so they're always just rolling on the base stat, which is a volley of 2. Pretty solid stuff. Now, Slingers in opposition to that, they are also a light class infantry type unit. They have torrential fire and armor piercing 1, but 20-inch range barrage 1. Torrential fire is another cool rule. This, unless firing at long range, each successful hit from this regiment inflicts generates an additional ranged attack. These additional attacks cannot generate further rolls, so you can get some extra shots. For me, I think these two definitely have different uses and are both much more viable. It's not, for me, quite as one way or the other with the Blooded and the Braves. And so that is everything we get inside this box set, but let's take a look at what we can expand upon. And so here we have, of course, I've picked all 3 dinosaur units. These, I mean, this is what I'm selling people on Wadrun for. It's orcs riding dinosaurs. How is that not cool? If that doesn't sell you, they're not the army for you. Now, speaking of that, what's really cool is the Predator is just such a cool character, because the things we're going to want to get in the army, like the dinosaurs, the Predator has all of them available as either mainstay or restricted units, which is cool, meaning straight up you can start taking your dinosaurs as your first sort of purchases, which is awesome. Now, the Hunting Pack and Raptor Riders are both mainstay, and the Apex Predator is a restricted unit for him, so you need to do a little bit of juggling around to sort of fit them all in your warbands, but let's get talking about them. First of all, the Hunting Pack. Now, the Hunting Pack currently isn't out, but it is on its way. We've now seen the models, which look absolutely amazing. This is a light class cavalry type unit. They have a bunch of different special rules like Unsung, Opportunist, Feral, Fluid Formation, and Vanguard. They are not allowed to be joined by characters, but rules like Unsung is nice. This regiment never follows a cult. We then have Opportunists as well, where the regiment may reroll failed hits if its clash or volley actions are from within the target's flank or rear arcs. Feral is another one of the special rules we get, where a regiment with a special rule does not count for the purposes of determining reinforcement lines. Fluid Formation allows them to sort of move around a lot easier, and Vanguard is really cool, allowing them when they enter the board to get a additional free march action so long as no enemies are within 8 inches of them. So a pretty solid unit. 6 attacks per single base, 3 wounds, resolve 3, only defense 1, so they do go down pretty quick, but putting out 6 attacks each at clash 2, you know, for a nice fast unit. They're not incredibly expensive points wise, so a nice solid unit to start out with. Raptor Riders are where it's at for me. I absolutely love these models, and these were one of the things that definitely attracted me to Wadrun. I can't wait to get our Wadrun models for the channel. But Raptor Riders, they are a light class cavalry type unit, same as your unit of hunting packs. They are 190 points in comparison though. Strong arm, barrage 2, 12 inch, armor piercing, fluid formation, and flurry. A bunch of really cool rules. 5 attacks at clash and volley 2, 4 wounds, resolve 3, and defense 2. Makes them pretty decent all round. They can also take a Huntress, which is their special command model, which counts as a standard bearer and leader, and also gives them the unstoppable rule. Now, speaking of the big guy, I mean, if you've looked at Wadrun, this is the model you've definitely had a look at, is the Apex Predator. The Apex Predator is the big giant T-Rex. He is a heavy class monster type unit. 10 attacks, 12 wounds, resolve 4, defense 3, 3 clash. Deadly Blades is one of his special rules, where an enemy regiment or character stand makes a defense roll and they roll 6s, you do 2 instead of 1 hits. You got Cleave 2, Fearless, Fiend Hunter, so it's good against other monsters, Unstoppable, and Terrifying 2. This guy is an absolute beast, and he will rip apart opponents' monsters. Now, thinking of the units we got base, I always like to suggest in these, trying to grab yourself a wizard to learn all parts of the game, and so a Scion of Conquest is another great piece to add in. He's a Priest 3 character with Clear 2. He, of course, can join warband cults, and like I said before, it's always just good just to sort of play one cult at a time and sort of learn what you're doing before you start mixing and matching. He's got some really cool spells. I especially like Crescendo, which is really good. It adds a Conquest chant marker to the sequence. Reveal your next command card. If it belongs to a regiment, you draw that command card and the regiment activates immediately. Otherwise, return it to the top of the command stack. Pretty cool stuff all in all. He's also got Dissonance and Cacophony, a Dissonance until the end of the cast's next activation. Each time an enemy spellcaster attempts to cast a spell onto a regiment within 12 inches of this caster, while this caster is within 12 inches of the unit. After rolling for successes before the result is calculated, you may discard any number of chant markers to discard dice of your choice for each chant marker discarded in this way. So being able to stop your opponent's spell. And then he's got access to Cacophony as well, where you target a regiment may not resolve draw events other than decay X until the caster's next activation. So some good, useful stuff. Blooded and Braves being his mainstays makes it really easy just to grab him and take some of your Blooded or Braves that you've got in your starter set, set one of those 2 units aside and give it to your Scion of Conquest. A really solid bunch of groups, and of course, you know, orcs riding dinosaurs. Alrighty, and so here we have our sample 1000 point Wadrun army list. Now we've gone for a Predator who's going to be our Warlord, and we've given him the Dreamcatcher Talisman, which is pretty cool. I like using this with a unit of 6 Hunters. Hunters don't have Torrential Fire, but the Dreamcatcher Talisman gives us a cool extra supremacy ability in addition to any others we might have, which makes all units within 8 inches of him gain Torrential Fire. This means that we can get Hunters to have Torrential Fire, which is really nice. Now, like I said, we've gone for Death just across the whole army as our sort of one of our marks for the army. You can really pick whichever sort of cult you want for the whole army. Like I said, you just want to be picking the same one, I think, to begin with. Learn that one, change to another one, learn that one, change to the last one, learn that, and then start thinking about mixing and matching. Now, we've obviously got our Hunters in a unit of 6 here. They're going to be able to gain Torrential Fire once per game, thanks to that Supremacy ability. And then we've got 3 Raptor Riders, and then we've got our 3 Blooded stands in here with a Leader and Standard Bearer, and the Huntress in the Raptor Riders as well. She counts as both a Standard Bearer and a Leader. The Scion of Conquest will be our other unit, or our other hero. He's going to have Crescendo to get some cool extra abilities with our more Conquest tokens. And then he's got a unit of Blooded with a Leader and Standard Bearer in there as well for him to go in. We have 2 characters, 2 light regiments and 2 medium regiments, no heavy regiments in the force. This is a pretty simple sort of standard 1000 point army list. I really like this. If you're picking up Wadrun, this is really easy to get into for an army because, you know, you're only having to add literally the Scion and a box of Raptor Riders, a pretty cheap addition to that to get to 1000 points, which is nice. If you've been playing with the Wadrun in Conquest, let us know how you've been going and what you have been using down in the comments below. Well, that's the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below and let us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine community here at Sinful Gaming, you can do so by following the link in the video's description to our Discord server. And lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so either via Patreon or YouTube members, and both of those are linked again down in the video's description. As a special thanks to all our Patreon and YouTube members, I'd like to give a shout out to them all. So a special thank you to our Patreons: Christian Weir, James Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Cure Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Dynet226, and Derek. And a special shout out to our YouTube members: Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Vinny, Locklorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Shelf, Ariana Airwoods, and Sean Scott. Lastly, a special thanks, first of all, to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for our channel, and to Xmorphic, who does all the amazing Discord server background work for us. Thank you all for watching. Once again, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.